Good morning. Where 2 or 3 or 8 of us are gathered in his name, we will have service. We're going to start our service off by welcoming you all in the Spirit into this place. Welcome into this place. Lord, you're welcome into this open vessel. You desire to abide in the presence of your people. So we lift our hands and we lift our voice as we offer up our hearts unto this space. Declares your glory, your majesty, yet you choose to abide in the presence of your people. So we lift our hands and we lift our voice as we offer up our hearts unto this space. Into this place, welcome into this open vessel. You desire to abide in the presence of your people. So we lift our hands and we lift up our voice as we offer up our hearts unto this space. Welcome into this place. You are welcome into this open vessel. You desire to abide in the presence of your people. So we lift our hands and we lift up our voice. So we lift our hands and we lift up our voice. So we lift our hands and we lift up our voice as we offer up our love unto this space.
Quite lift up your voice in the way you do, Rod. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Cynthia, and it is a joy to welcome you here this morning. And as we come together both online and in this physical space, I invite you to join with me in affirming our vision and mission statements. First, our vision. Centered in love and divine oneness, we transform ourselves, our community, and our world. And our mission statement, we put God first, celebrate life, unity principles, and empower each other to transform our lives. And I invite you to just take a moment and to sit with that affirmation. We come together putting God first. celebrating the gift of life, living our unity principles, and reaching out to one another and being a support for our ongoing transformation. We also have 3 core values. Those core values are spirit-centered, loving, and inclusive. And in the light of all the tension in the political arena today, we created a statement that we're affirming for us and for our country. Unity Church of the Hills is an open-minded and open-hearted spiritual community that embraces all as expressions of the divine. We intentionally create a safe space that honors the diversity and the uniqueness of every single person. We lovingly welcome people of all backgrounds, beliefs, and political views, while valuing the inherent worth and dignity of everyone, acknowledging the uneasiness and polarization in our current culture. We unite as one in prayer. Loving Spirit, we know and affirm the beauty of each human soul and acknowledge that we are interconnected with each other. We cultivate the space in our hearts and in our spiritual community that nurtures the sacredness of all and embraces them with compassion and understanding. We honor the differences among us while grounding ourselves in a faith that unites us. We extend love, grace, kindness, generosity to one another. And so it is, and so it shall be. And it is in that spirit that I do welcome you here this morning. Whether you're here for the first time or you've been coming for an extended period of time. And we also want to call to mind our friends in the southeast part of this country who have been affected by the hurricane. And I want to share with you that this morning's love offering, 10% of it is going to go to relief in the southeast. And that includes your giving in the basket, and includes your giving online. If you wish to make a special donation that's specific to hurricane relief, you can do so. I ask you to be very specific on your checks or your online donation so that we can ensure that it goes to the right place. And you can also use your Pew cards to do that. So, lots of extra stuff this morning. I do hope that you'll participate in that. I know I'm going to add an online donation myself. But let me pause now and really do a full welcome. Thank you for being here this morning. Your presence here matters. It makes a difference. And I'm wondering if there is anybody that's here for the first time that wouldn't mind raising their hand. Yay, thank you for being here. We hope you enjoy your time with us. There's a card, and a connection card in the pew in front of you. We invite you to fill that out. It helps us stay connected. And we do hold you in our hearts this morning, and I hope that you are blessed by your experience with us. Anybody here for the second time? Okay. And I know there's lots of us that are here for the third and fourth and fifth and 100th time, and each one of you is valued. So we want to express that value by affirming together the blessing on the screen together. We love you, we bless you, we love you, and we behold the Christ you are. And now let's take a moment to move around the room and to see that presence of God in each person. And I do another special welcome to our online audience.
as we finish our greeting and gathering, we're going to start our congregation song, and this Sunday is a new song. So I'm going to sing it the first time around, and then it's easy to join in on. And if you don't get it this Sunday, then we'll sing again next Sunday until you finally learn it. No, just kidding. So this is called Joy in My World, and so let us sing from our hearts. But I'll sing first. Love in the words I say, peace in the world I make, God in every breath I take, joy in my day, joy in my day. See, pretty simple. Ready? Love in the words I say, peace in the world I make, God in every breath I take, joy in my day, joy in my day. We are lifted up, we are lifted up, we are lifted up higher. We are lifted up, we are lifted up, we are lifted up higher. Love in the words we say, peace in the world we make, God in every breath we take, joy in our day, joy in our day, God in every breath we take, joy in our day, joy in our day. Now the rock is hard. We are lifted up, we are lifted up higher. We are lifted up, we are lifted up, we are lifted up higher. So, yay, nay, keeper? All right, we'll keep it.
Good morning again. This feels so unnatural to me. So when I volunteered to do the Unity moment, I found myself sitting with Rev Cynthia and saying, can you help me pick something? I don't know exactly if any of these are Unity or if they just kind of float around Unity. And so she said, sure, come on. So we walked down to the library, and she proceeded to teach me and hand me one book, and then another, and another, and another. Now, if you know Rev Cynthia, she could probably read all those books in the span of a day. Anaya, not so much. And so it was interesting to me because I realized that I didn't have a clear distinction between who was Unity and who was not. I understood, the typical Charles, Myrtle, and Eric Butterworth, like all the names that we normally hear, but I wasn't quite sure about others. So I just want to share with you about my experience. In typical Anaya fashion, I became curious about those who went against the grain. And then I realized I didn't grow up in a spiritual home. I didn't grow up in a religious home. And on some level, that saddened me. On another level, I thought, wow, how freeing. I have had the opportunity to seek out teachers that speak to my truth, my inner power, my agency. I've had the privilege to move beyond religious frameworks, doctrine. I've had the permission within me to seek out what God, what Spirit, what Source truly means to me. And so I sought out the rebels. I sought out those on the fray. And I found them walking a different path to unity, which really resonated with me. I saw a lot of this in Jesus, right? I found myself drawn to mystics, specifically nature mystics, who do not see a separation between God, nature, self, and the other. I found myself interested in multi-faith, multicultural beings. And that's when I came across Jan Phillips. Now, Jan Phillips is a visionary thought leader. She's an award-winning author and a dynamic speaker. She grew up Catholic. She also decided to join a convent until they found out she was lesbian, and then she was freed from that convent. She moved into other teachings. She found other pathways. She explored other things about herself. And what she found was that she was designed to be the co-founder and executive director of the Living Kindness Foundation, a charitable foundation established to provide opportunities, programming for individuals and groups to address systemic racism and take creative action toward a more just environment. She worked in 23 countries, presenting keynotes, workshops, retreats. She creates a unique multi-sensory experience, weaving humor, storytelling, video, and music to inspire and ignite insights for life-changing action. She shows people how to access their wisdom, activate their creative energy, and communicate with passion and power. Her own quest has led her into and out of a religious community across the U.S. on a Honda motorcycle, and around the world on a one-woman peace pilgrimage, blending East and West, art and activism, reflection and ritual. Jan's presentations are transformative, uplifting, and soul-stirring. And so why did it move me so early at the beginning of my share with you all is part of the reason is because my first prayer ever that I ever learned was a prayer that was pulled from AA. My dad was a recovering alcoholic. He would take my sister and I on our bikes every evening to AA meetings. We would sit outside in the little foyer in the church, and I would hear this prayer through the partitions. And I learned that prayer, not fully understanding what it meant. And so with that in mind, I sought out how I wove that prayer into my life, how I used it in multiple fashions, and how I didn't even really realize that I was praying. And so Jan writes on her website, Creativity and the Shaping of Our Consciousness. She writes, when we come into the world, our thoughts are shaped by well-meaning adults in our lives. They love us. They want us to be safe. They pass on teachings and values they inherited, as that is all they know. As we mature and grow into the adults we are to become, we have a certain amount of shedding to do. And boy, have I shed. For many of these notions are now outdated, supplanted by ideas, which are evolving along with the rest of the universe. She says we are cosmic beings made of stardust and clay. And our spiritual journey is not out into the fray, but inward toward the wisdom within. So she shares this small writing of who we are and of what we are capable. Think of yourself as a thought of the Infinite One, made flesh by your sheer desire to see and be seen. Think of yourself as nature looking upon nature, in awe at its grandeur, in tears for its wounds. Nature loving itself, healing itself, speaking out for itself. Think of yourself as a vessel of stardust and clay, a child of the cosmos, evolving and transforming every minute of the day. Matter into energy, particle into wave, mortal into immortal. Think of yourself as a soul who took on a body to be of use, to radiate love, and receive it in return. Think of yourself as a shaman whose hands heal whatever they touch, a storyteller whose words fall like rain on a drought-stricken land, whose stories are medicine, miracles that heal the sick and raise the dead. Think of yourself as a circle holding yin and yang, as unity cradling the dualities in your arms. Think of yourself as thought leaning toward radiance and early dawn rising into daylight. Think of yourself as necessary, purposeful, and here for a reason. And remember, you came here to light the world. Deep inside you, the fire of creation burns day and night. Atoms from the Big Bang spin and swirl in your blood and bones, your lungs, and your legs. Like salt in the tear, joy in the laughter, the Holy One is you. Being scattered like seeds across the land as you speak and write and reach out to touch. You are the hands and the feet, the eyes and the ears of the great beloved. It is time now that each of us say what happened and what we learned. To reveal ourselves and to heal ourselves. And to heal ourselves is to heal each other and the world. From our revelations of intimacy and truthfulness, vulnerability and generosity, the future takes shape and enters into us. Our words made flesh. Our thoughts made real. Yes, my friends, think of yourself as a creator. The peace you desire, the justice you cry for, these will come as we speak them into being. As the cosmos is being created by the mind of the Infinite One, this world is being created by the minds of the finite ones, by us. Let us be mindful and full of care for the words we speak, the thoughts we think, the stories we tell. For these are the tools with which we build tomorrow.
It's really not right or smart for me to begin by saying, if you're like me, because so few are. But if you're like me, feel the prayers that have already been answered. In the wonderful song, Joy in Our Day, in the unity moment from Anaya, in the wonderful sound of the bow that we hear when Paul sounds that bow. Allow yourselves to settle into your heart and give thanks just for the beginning of these beautiful services, today's especially. And then I'm going to ask you to join with me silently again in your hearts, affirming strength, blessing, grace, and most of all, peace in places in our world, the Middle East, and the conflict there, affirming that it is resolved and dissolves in short time. In our nation, over the next 30 days, as we move through the conflict that will be the campaign for the presidency, allow ourselves to know peace, to take the wonderful sentence from the prayer that Reverend Cynthia read. We honor the difference among us while grounding ourselves in a faith that unites us and giving thanks for that faith, not just here, but throughout the United States. And join me in affirming rescue in the aftermath for the hurricane victims throughout the Southeast. A return to peace, a return to comfort, a return for what was lost in that nature tragedy. And giving thanks in advance for all of this, peace and love and grace. And thank you for praying with me. Amen.
For your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment I wake up until I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire. In darkest night, you are close like no other. I've known you as a father. I've known you as a friend. And I have lived in the goodness of God. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful. Oh, yes. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Your good running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, keeps running after me. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. I'm gonna sing, oh, all my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God.
I need a moment. Thank you, Rod, Matt. The goodness of God, expressed so beautifully. And it is right here with us, is it not? I would concur with Tim. Everything seems to have kind of woven together so beautifully this morning. And I thank everybody that has participated in that. So, you might be aware of the story in John chapter 5. It is a story about the pool in Bethesda, a place where people used to gather, waiting to step into the pool to be healed. As the story goes, an angel would come down and touch the pool, and the first person in the pool would then be completely healed. And Jesus arrives on this scene, and he notices what's going on, and he specifically notices a man that he realizes has been there a very long time. Indeed, he's been there 38 years. That's a long time to sit by the pool and wait, is it not? And Jesus looks at this man and questions him. Do you want to be made whole? And the man says, well, yes, of course I do. But I cannot walk. And I have no one to place me in the pool. And Jesus says to this man, take up your bed or take up your pallet, depending on the translation, and walk. Which the man does. I find this a very curious kind of story. I mean, first of all, don't you kind of wonder what Jesus was thinking? What did he mean when he said, do you want to be made whole? I mean, don't all of us want to be made whole? Don't all of us want to step into that pool and know complete healing? The other question that comes up is around Jesus' second statement. What did he mean when he said, take up your bed and walk? I mean, this is unusual. The other stories of Jesus healing, he would touch someone. He would play in the mud and put mud on people's eyes when they were blind. But he did none of that stuff with this man. He just said, pick up your bed and walk. You might even look at that and go, wow, that seems just a little bit callous, right? Which I'm sure it was not, because ultimately the man did get up and walk. But there's a lot to this story that invites us to consider what it means to be healed, what it means to be whole, to consider for ourselves whether we truly want to be made whole. And the easiest way for me to explore this with you this morning is through my own personal experience with healing. Many of you know that I had a little challenge a few weeks back, a few months back. I had gone to the doctor for just a routine visit, and I was told I had a heart murmur, and a series of tests proceeded from that. And they discovered that I had a heart valve that was leaking quite a bit. And they said, you need to have surgery. And I'm like, what? I need heart surgery? No, I don't think so. You're mistaken. As a matter of fact, I called up my friend Doug and talked to him about this, and he said, what? He said, Cynthia, you're the poster child for heart health. How can this be you? And that's kind of where I was at. But there's a way in which that hanging on, that insistence that it not be so, made me kind of like that man at the well, not being willing to kind of look. And my journey over the next several months as I went through surgery and went through healing and recovery taught me a great deal about healing, about wholeness, and also a tremendous amount about trust and humility. I found myself a couple days before the surgery kind of going, okay, what am I doing here? I've met the surgeon once, very nice man. He's very confident in what he does, but I don't know this person. I've never met the anesthesiologist. I don't know the medical team, and I am placing myself in their care, their hands. Lots of humility, lots of trust in something that I couldn't control in any way. And I get to the hospital, and somehow in all the in all the conversations and the pre-op visits, I miss the fact they were going to put me on a heart-lung bypass. And I'm like, you are? You're going to stop my heart? Trust. Trust. Humility. And I was cared for so incredibly well. The surgeon did a great job. The nursing staff was amazing. And I kind of thought this would be a lot easier than it was. I realized before I got home from the hospital, which I said I'm going to be there about 2 days, I was there 6. That this healing journey was going to be a little bit more intense than I thought. But I also realized as I got home that the doctor and the nursing staff and everybody that cared for me was dealing with the physical part. The healing was very much in my hands, but in a very different way. Once again, an opportunity to trust and to be humble. Y'all know that I'm a dancer. I like to move. It was humbling to get home from the hospital and find that I couldn't walk up to the corner and back without stopping. I hadn't planned on that. You know, they stop your heart, they put you on a heart-lung bypass. It takes a little while to recover. And so my journey with that healing was to take good care of myself, to spend lots of time resting in the presence, and trusting the process. I could do lots of things to take good care of myself, and I did. But ultimately, the healing was something that I just supported. The body healed itself, and I participated in it. But underneath that, we get to this idea of wholeness that is spoken of in John. Do you want to be made whole? What does that mean? Ultimately, I believe that it means trusting on the deepest level, being humble enough to recognize there is so much more than my little self. In spiritual economics, Eric Butterworth speaks of wholeness. And he talks about Jesus speaking about overcoming the world, saying when Jesus said, "I have overcome the world," he meant that he kept himself centered in the inner realm of wholeness. He kept himself centered in the inner realm of wholeness. He knew that he might experience less, but he could never be less than the dynamic center in a whole universe. We might experience less. We might experience lack. We might experience limitation. We might experience strange diagnosis that we can't relate to. We can have those experiences, but they don't touch the inner center. And so when we're talking about wholeness, we're saying we are not our experiences. We are that center of the universe. We are whole. This is it is the deepest layer of our being. And when Jesus asked the man, do you want to be made whole? The invitation is not to actually change anything to be made whole, but to align with the truth of that wholeness. Thomas Merton says, there is in all things a hidden wholeness. There is in all things an inexhaustible sweetness and purity, a silence that is the foundation of action and joy. It rises up in gentleness and flows out to me from the unseen roots of all created being. A hidden wholeness that rises up from the very root of our existence. This is our ultimate reality. And if we're choosing to be made whole, if we're choosing to stand up and walk, we must choose this first. Whatever we're experiencing is not who we are. What we are experiencing is a step along life's journey, inviting us to stand in the wholeness that we are and to be the space of wholeness for the world around us. So if we're to embrace wholeness, there are a couple of things we need to remember: humility and trust. It is not just my little ego and my little self that I'm talking about. I want to open up and be humble and trust the dance of the universe moving through me. We want to center ourselves in that space of wholeness, because whatever our experience, this is who we are. We are in an inexhaustible sweetness and purity. And when we go there, the joy rises up in us. So we want to define ourselves in that way, rather than getting stuck in the turmoil that can arise in this physical plane. And finally, we want to see the wholeness all around us. If I am whole, just as I am, if this is my true reality, it is true for each and every one of us. And so when I look into the eyes of another person, am I willing to see them with the eyes that Jesus saw them? And to recognize their wholeness, to see the incredible beauty that they are, to know that whatever our missteps, and we all have them, Each one of us has the capacity to be kind. Each one of us has the capacity to be loving. Each one of us has the capacity to be generous. And each of us is a co-creator with the universe in this life. And you see, if we can hold that wholeness for one another, we begin to unite together as a sacred whole, both as this spiritual community that is Unity Life Center. That was my first ministry. Unity Church of the Hills, but also the greater whole that is the universe. So this is my invitation to you, to know that you are whole, to know that you are precious, and to pick up your bed and walk. God bless.
There is a sweet anointing in the sanctuary. There is a stillness in the atmosphere. Come and lay down the burdens you have carried. For in this sanctuary, God is here. There is a sweet anointing in this sanctuary. There is a stillness in the atmosphere. Lay down the burdens you have carried, for in this sanctuary, God is here.
So I invite you to close your eyes, if that's comfortable, and to enter that sanctuary. To allow yourself to embrace the hidden wholeness that lies at the heart of your life, of the lives of those around you, whatever the circumstances, and to just enter the stillness of communing with that presence. Thank you. Thank you, Infinite Spirit, for this gift of life, the opportunity to be an expression of wholeness, to be your hands and feet in this world, and to create the space of healing and wholeness for all. And so it is. Amen.
Now is our opportunity to support our spiritual home and experience the true power of giving and receiving through our offerings. Will the ushers please come forward? There are a number of ways for you to give, and they are showing on your screen. No matter how you give, we are grateful for your generosity and know that it will return to you tenfold. Online participants, click the Give Online button on the UCOH website. If you would like to designate an additional offering for hurricane relief, click on Love Offering and enter the word hurricane in the offering notes. There are cards in the pews in front of you with QR codes that you can use for this purpose. Just please, in the offering notes, please specify hurricane relief. Let's see, there are small cards in the pew in front of you that you can also hold to represent your gift while we speak our offering affirmation together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I circulate, and I am grateful. Thank you.
You can play the game, you can act the part, even though you know it wasn't written for you. Tell me, how can you stand there with a broken heart, ashamed of playing the fool? One thing can lead to another. It doesn't take any sacrifice. Oh, father and mother, sister and brother, if it feels nice, don't think twice. Just shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna work out fine if you only will. Do as I say now. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be much better if you only will. You can play the game, cannot hide. This is widely known. Tell me what you plan to do with your foolish pride when you're all by yourself alone. Once you tell somebody the way you feel it beginning to ease. I think it's true what they say about the squeaky wheel always getting the grease. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be just fine if you only will. What I like for you to do is shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be much better if you only will. Show them the way that you feel. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Shower the people you love with love. Make it rain, oh, feel. Oh, make it rain. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Yeah, things are gonna be much better if you only will.
And Matt and Ron with our love. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Oh. And we shower these gifts with our love. We feel them infused with the activity, the power, the presence of Spirit. And we are so grateful for those who have given so graciously to this ministry. We bless the offerings of the people here in the room and online, and we see them going forth to heal and to bring peace and solace to all. And so it is. Amen.
Amen.
Announcements. Today at 1:30, Reverend Cynthia will present an interactive mission-centric ministry workshop to help us ensure that our decisions and actions reflect the new identity work we've created and embraced. We will learn what it means to be mission-centric, why it is important, and what we can do to live it. Everyone is welcome. The workshop will be presented by Zoom again on Tuesday night. Register online for the link. Join Dr. Paul Hubbard as he shares his amazing gift of holographic sound tomorrow evening at 7:30 in the sanctuary. Learn to meditate with Dr. Dan Stasek in room 203 on Tuesday evening at 7. Learn all about iPhone photography and digital media with Joni Lorraine in our monthly adulting class this Friday evening at 6 p.m. in Legacy Suite. Welcome in the season with Spirit by joining Anaya in Friendship Hall on Saturday at 5 for Releasing into Autumn, a journey of nourishing release. Finally, wear your Halloween costume to church on Sunday, October 27th, and then come back at 5 for the UCOH 2024 Fall Festival Trunk or Treat and Hayride, and other festivities. Register online to provide a trunk or treat, or to volunteer. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Ellen Fannin, and I'm here in my capacity as the team lead for the nominating team. And our goal is to identify and vet potential candidates for the UCOH Board of Trustees. Now, we have 2 positions that are coming up that we need to fill at the UCOH annual meeting that will be on Sunday, November the 17th. And both of those positions are 3-year terms. Now, if you are interested, which is okay, or if you know someone who might be interested in serving on the board, we ask that you fill out one of the forms. Now, we have forms that are out in the foyer, but also the form is online. The rotator on our website has something that says 2024 board nominations. You can click on that. That form is there. Or we have posters in the foyer and also in Friendship Hall that have a QR code. We want to give you all sorts of opportunities to make suggestions for board members. So once we receive, the team receives these suggestions, what we do is we check on their eligibility because the qualifications are listed on that form, and it's important that the person that you're suggesting is eligible, so we check that, and then what we do is we contact that person, make sure they are willing to serve, and if they are, then we send them the questionnaire for them to complete, and then we set up an interview with them either in person or online. Now, the slate of candidates, once it is established, what we do is we present it to the congregation 2 weeks prior to the annual meeting, as is stated in our bylaws. So, although those suggestion forms that are out there have a submission date by October 20th, in order to give the nominating team time to do our due diligence on them, we're asking that you get your suggestions to us as soon as possible. Today would work, and get them to us so that we can follow through. So thank you very much.
Encourage you to attend the upcoming Path to Discovery class. It starts next week. The focus next week is going to be Unity's 5 basic principles, and whether you've been coming for a long time or you're new, this is an opportunity to really dig in and understand those principles at depth. This is a required class for anybody that wants to become a member, but it is so valuable to have long-term people share in that discussion. So please consider attending next week and the following 2 weeks. All right, so we're going to, I want to remind you that we have prayer chaplains on duty every Sunday. They are available to pray with you, to hold you in that space of wholeness every Sunday. And the prayer chaplains this week are Tim and Samantha. You can meet them in the chapel, and they will hold you in the light. If you are online, we invite you to call Silent Unity, and the number is available online. And now we have an opportunity to say goodbye to our online audience. Thank you so much for being here. Know that we value you. We invite you to like and subscribe before you go, and we thank you for being here.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.